let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop!
That's the signal! Go, 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 go!
Six!
It's beautiful!
Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
It's the Memorial Day edition of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Starting your week off right, even if you're still in bed, just laying there with your app on, listening to us and driving your wife nuts or driving your husband nuts if you're one of the 10% of the women that listen to the show. Good to have you along. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Android app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, probably sitting in bed, just got a cup of coffee, sipping it like Ross is right now. Subscribe to this channel. Give this video a like. Leave your comments in the comment section and follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Ross, I got a question for you.
Fire away.
So here it is. You know, I think forever we've always said Happy Memorial Day. Is Memorial Day supposed to be happy?
No, it's not. And I don't think that that's the right way to say it. Happy Memorial Day. I think that it's, I don't know. That's a weird one. I'm with you. It's not something you celebrate. It's something you recognize or acknowledge. I'm with you. I'm with you. It's a hard one because it's not even, it's not like I saw one of our listeners put in there, thanks to all those who served, which, by the way, every day, thank you to all of you that were brave enough to go and do that. Memorial Day is supposed to be designated for those who died in service.
It's interesting. I went on a walk on Saturday morning, and Arlo and I went for a long walk, and I went by Memorial Park, which is in Omaha, and they were having they had a setup, and there was a national exhibit that was getting set up, and it wasn't a wall, but it was banners. That is a national or touring banner where they kind of set all these banners of soldiers who had died. And they were just getting set up. So I was like the first one there. They're going to have a pancake feed and stuff. And I think it really hit me because you just become kind of blind to everything, right? You just you don't pay attention. And I just stopped and started looking at all the photos. And this is no different than probably any war that's ever been fought. And there's been conflict since the beginning of this country. But it was all the casualties post 9/11. And I'm just kind of looking at all these photos, and they had their names and their ages. And that's when it hit me that it was 18, 20, 22, 23. And then you're like, wow, that was call me. I mean, I didn't mean to be oblivious, but it kind of took that for me to go, oh my God, these are just babies. And maybe it's because my kids are, in that 20 to 25-year-old range, and you're just reading these names and seeing these faces. You're like, oh, this is sad. This is really, really sad. I don't mean to start the day on a bummer, but it was just like, so, then you spend the weekend, everybody's going, I have a great Memorial Day weekend. Because a lot of people treat it as the start of summer, going to the lake house and partying it up.
That's true.
But yeah, that was kind of a wake-up call. You're like, oh, man.
Day off. It's everybody's got the day off. Seems like. Shouldn't say everybody. Here we are.
Yeah, is this work, though? Is this really work?
One of the guys yesterday was like, you're really doing a show tomorrow morning? I said, do you realize what you're saying? I'm going to get up in the morning and talk to my buddy for a few hours while I have coffee. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to get up and do that. I ran into a lot of listeners yesterday, man.
Really? Where at?
A lot. I was at, so Grimes has this thing called the Hy-Vee Super Mega Dopplerplex or something. I don't even know what they call it. It's the Hy-Vee. I think it's called Megaplex, but maybe it's Superplex. Maybe I don't know, something.
Is it a movie theater or is it
No. It's like 100 square acres of turf.
Really?
Dude, I didn't know. I'd been out there before for baseball, but we kind of drove to the back, saw a baseball game, and left. Eli had some breaks yesterday over the weekend, and we had a couple games that just weren't they weren't very competitive. So I walked a lot this weekend, and I got to see that Grimesplex, dude. It's unreal. It is. I don't even know. I 6 different quads where they can either play 4 baseball games on one quad. That's how big one of these quads are. I mean, it looks like a 40-acre lot. Wow. Great turf. And then they've got movable fences on it. It's a place, dude. It's
Now, is it where like organized games play? Can you go out there and just play? Can you?
Pretty tight. It'd be pretty. It'd be you. You're gonna rent this place, and you know what I mean. There's events happening there all the time. But it was. I mean, again, for a parent, perfect. Good parking. The concession stand sold alcohol. Not that I was drinking at all.
Hold on. Back up and punt.
Yeah.
The concession stand sold alcohol?
Yes. Like had carbless, and I wish I'd have taken a photo of what all they had. They had drinks, high noons.
See, now that's my kind of concession stand. They've figured out that some parents, even though they're there to see little Johnny or little Janie play, they don't really want to watch all the other kids play, and they need to serve them a high noon or a White Claw or a Busch Light or an Ultra.
You got dads out there with the 6 o'clock shakes. Come on. Take care of your men.
Every alcoholic listening right now go, oh, I've had the 6 o'clock shakes before. We know what the 6 o'clock shakes are. You wake up in the morning, you're like, I need something to take the edge off. And if you're recovering right now, we're sorry to bring up bad memories. But apologize for that. But I don't know if I've ever seen a concession stand at a youth sports complex.
Had a sign on it. Again, I wish I had snapped a photo of the sign. The sign was great. The sign was like, we are a private concession stand. We are not affiliated with the city. You are not making a donation to a nonprofit. You are buying something from a private concessionaire.
And we're here to make money. And
Want
they
a beer?
probably, you want a beer? You want a 24 ounce or do you want a 12 ounce? We got the tall boys if you want them. Wow.
Yeah. Way better experience that I had this weekend. The boys played well. They finished second place. The way better experience I had than what Courtney went through down in Kansas City. They were in one of those state of play tournaments where you had
softball, basketball. What are we talking about?
Baseball.
Okay,
Baseball. Where they had to go down and they give you a group of hotels, and then you've got to stay in this group of hotels in order to play in the tournament. And so they paid the money to play in the tournament. They'd paid the money to stay at the hotel. She gets to the game Saturday morning. $25 to come in to see the game. $25. But don't worry, Travis. That pass is good for the whole weekend.
How many games they play?
Like 5, I think, something like that. I mean, it was a pretty. These Memorial Day tournaments, they can get in. Eli played 4 games this weekend.
How much did you pay to get into your games?
I did. That's what I was saying. At Grimes, for baseball, I don't think I've ever paid to get in. Now, you pay a lot of money for the league. You pay a lot of money for the tournament. I don't think Eli's ever played in a tournament where I had to pay to get in. Now, wrestling's a totally different deal. Wrestling, but it's like $20 for Eli to enter a wrestling tournament, and then when you get there, they get $5 for each person to walk in the door. That I'm okay with.
So the $25 you mentioned that's for the whole weekend. Is that Saturday, Sunday? Is that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
That's funny. Trav, that was Friday. Did they play Friday? I don't remember. It might have been Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this was a big tournament. This was on beautiful fields. They played on college stadiums. One of the teams that they played against was coached by Alex Gordon.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. She wrote to me. She's like, hey, do you know Alex Gordon? Yeah, he's like one of the 10 most famous Royals ever. That's fair, right?
He just had his name or his number retired, I think, by the Royals, or they put him in the Ring of Honor or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
he's got right now. He's one of the 10 most famous Royals ever.
I would agree with you.
That's crazy.
I can name a lot of Royals, maybe just because we grew up in proximity to Kansas City. I'm just trying to think if $25 for 3 days is egregious, and because I know, because I
Not
know
egregious. It's not egregious. It's when it's piled on top of. You had to pay money to be in the tournament. You had to pay money to come here to our city to stay in one of our hotels that we decided you had to stay in. And now that we've got you here and your kid is going to play, we know you're going to pay money to come in.
So you throw in the travel, the hotel, the entry fee into the park, food, gas. It was easily $1,000 weekend for her, wasn't it?
I'd imagine. I didn't ask.
Wow.
I'd imagine.
Wow. But you got the wristband. You got the wristband.
Yeah. I mean, Travis, this is for people that are cynical about youth sports.
And I'm there, by the way.
And I think most of us are cynical in some way about youth sports. Everybody, I think, understands that for the most part, it's about money, that they're trying to get money. But on an individual basis, every family is doing the same thing. They're doing what they think is best. They're doing what they think is either the best opportunity for their kid or to provide them with the most fun for a summer of playing baseball. And it sucks right now because, dude, it's hard to find those things. It's hard to find a family of people that you want to be around for a long period of time. And because what I got from baseball, here's the other thing I think all of us want what we got, meaning I had this great community of people around me that I still am friends with. And that's what I wanted for my son. I wanted him to be able to play with his buddies that 2020. Since about 2005, that's been nearly impossible. You don't play baseball to be with your friends. You play baseball to win. You play baseball
competitive,
to play against the best competition from 9U on. And if your kid isn't good enough to be on the 10U team in the middle of his 9U summer, well, then they find a different 9U kid to be on the 10U team. Travis, the tryouts in July for next year's U-Trip team. You go, well, wait a minute. Don't these kids improve a lot from July to May? Oh, yeah. They changed drastically. Hell, one kid's going to grow a foot. So why are we having tryouts in July? Well, because that way we can start the training program in August and start to collect cash.
See, I never went through this. I only put Owen. My girls never played softball, and Owen played baseball, but we just played like the little neighborhood league. You know, it was Memorial Park League, and you had about 15 to 20 games. They were played on Wednesday nights and Saturdays and Sundays. You never had to travel. They all were in one complex, so you had like 8 to 10 teams within
Travis,
the Memorial League.
Did you know that little leagues don't play on the weekends anymore?
Really?
They can't
because there's no fields available.
There's no kids. The fields were secondary. Chicken or the egg. What happened was the kids left little league, started playing travel ball. The league said we can't. A lot of little leagues. I shouldn't say all. A lot of little leagues don't even play on the weekends anymore. They can't.
Wow. I mean, and I'm 11, 12 years removed from it, and that's kind of shocking to me. Because it was right when Owen got out of, and he kind of stopped playing. He played into high school but it was more just kind of go out and have some fun.
Yeah.
The organized part ended when he was 12, and that was the next year is when they took like an all-star team and they played U-Trip season, but they also played the neighborhood little league. Interesting.
I met some really great listeners. First of all, I ran into my buddy Matt Coonert, who he's been helping out with Grandview Little League for a long time. He was the coach of that last team that went to the Little League World Series about 6-7 years ago.
Yep.
And so I'm talking to Matt yesterday, and this dude comes up to me and he's like, Ross, I'm a huge fan. We listen to you and Travis every day. And I don't know if it was his son or one of the other coaches from the batting cage was like, Ross, huge fan. We listen every day. I'm like, oh, thanks. Grant, I think he told me my name's Grandview Ron. I think that's what he said. He's like, next time we're having a big event out at Grandview, we're going to get you to come out. I said, sounds good. He says, Travis is coming too. I said, probably not. I don't think that's going to happen, but we can ask him.
I need about, a month and a half advance notice, and then I can get it on the calendar. I think I could make that happen, but I try to plan it around other things. I'll be coming up this Saturday for Shane Gillis, and you still have time to get registered for the Shane Gillis ticket giveaway. If you go to therushradio.com, that's therushradio.com. Go to the promotions tab, fill in your name, your information, and we'll be giving away those tickets later on this week. If Shane Gillis is coming to Wells Fargo Arena on Saturday night, he's going to start right around 8 o'clock. I think there's like 2 or 3 other comics that will open up, and then Shane Gillis will hit the stage probably around 9. So we'll be hanging out with each other this weekend.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I also, one of my walks I was on, I met 3 young folks, mid-20s, I'm going to guess, maybe early 30s, from Carlisle that were listeners also. I'm walking along. I thought they were messing with me because they were like, Ross! I'm like, do I know these people? They just said it in a way like they were almost, like old friends or something.
Yeah.
And I walked up to them and they're like, oh, we just listen. We listen to you guys. So that was fun. But they were there with playing 8U. And so we had a good conversation there because it was their very first tournament, if I remember right. And we just talked about this thing. Like, they're like, yeah, you called it. You said we were all going to be out here at 9 a.m. on a Saturday, freezing our ass off to watch 8U baseball. It's the nature of the beast. At least they in Carlisle, they're able to play, they're playing with their friends and they're kind of doing that community thing.
I saw some listeners on Friday night. I went to the Cyclone Tailgate Tour in Council Bluffs. And first of all, let me say that, we had John Walters on previewing the Cyclone Tailgate Tour. We had Jamie Pollard on. And just let me say that Jamie Pollard has got this thing down to a science, and an absolute science. There was probably, I'm going to guess, Ross, maybe 500 to 600 people at the Cyclone Tailgate Tour, which was, I heard Jamie say that this is probably one of the largest crowds they had in Council Bluffs. It was at the Mid-America Center, which is an arena in Council Bluffs, but they're on the convention center side. And I was amazed at how many people were there. And maybe it's because Iowa had so few people at theirs the week before, you don't know what to expect. But they have it down to a science and to where it's engaging. And you think it's going to be like this organized thing. And it is, but it's organized chaos. So the coaches walked in. You had Matt Campbell wasn't there because he left early to go watch his daughter run at the state track.
Remember that?
Which is a smart. But yeah, Jamie Pollard there. You had Bill Fenley there. Coach Dresser was there. TJ Otzelberger had a line that if they would have kept it open, he would have been signing autographs all night. Christy Johnson was there, the volleyball coach. So they just walk in and all they do is start signing autographs. And they kind of they're not even like, TJ had the only setup station, but all these coaches were just, and he needed one just because the line was so long, but everybody else was just kind of sitting by tables, talking to people, taking pictures with everybody. But they had the cheerleaders there, and they were selling like Cyclone football T-shirts. Then they had Cy there going around, and then they had a complete like shop over in one of the corners selling gear. And I'm sitting there going, this is just a brilliant, very simple marketing idea where you sign autographs for an hour and 10 minutes. Coaches go up on stage with John Walters. He asks them some questions, and then the crowd gets to ask some questions, and you call it a day after 2 hours, and they go home, and everybody leaves happy. But I was sitting there, and a guy comes up to me, and he goes, hey, man, listen every day. I was kind of taken aback because I wasn't expecting that. Here's what I didn't expect. I go, oh, thanks, man. He goes, I listen. I go, where are you from? He goes, Columbus. I go, you're from Columbus, Nebraska? I go, you drove all the way to Council Bluffs for this? I mean, that's about an hour and a half drive. He goes, yeah. And I go, and you listen to us every day? He goes, oh, every day. Every day. I'm like,
wasn't he showing up on your map?
He probably listens to the podcast version of it, but it's still, I was like, man, and then I was talking to Jamie Pollard, and he goes, Travis, who would have thought the Rush? I go, what do you mean? He goes, I've had more colleagues get a hold of me about the interview I did with you than any interview I've ever done. I said, well, I don't believe that. He goes, but I was shocked and surprised that I had ADs from across the country texting me. I'm like, well, that mean you're going to do it again?
So you said that the Iowa one was way less attended.
It was.
Okay, well, let's talk about why. Because did you see the graphic this weekend about the NIL money spent in college basketball?
I don't know if I believe that number.
It says DeVries is number 1.
Yes.
At Indiana. Iowa was number 3 in the nation based on this graphic at $9 million. And Travis, I had a friend who might be in the know who said, I've heard that number floated around from other people also. 9 million out of Iowa, be the third largest in the country. I'm with you. I guess I don't want to be rude here, but I want to say, where'd the 9 million go?
Well, I don't know if the Swarm has had 9 million in the bank account ever. I mean, Brad Heinrichs has been very open and honest about the numbers that run through the Swarm. And you're talking a basketball team last year that was just maybe short of $1 million of NIL money, and all of a sudden you're going to come up with 8 more million. I saw that graphic because I think it came from Yahoo Sports, and I was like, I don't know if I can believe this. And I think during the break, I'm just going to text Brad and say, hey, hope you're having a good Memorial Day.
I'm telling you, I don't trust any of this NIL reporting news. None of it. I've had insiders, people in the know, tell me both sides of the equation. I've had insiders, people in the know say, dude, the money's way more than they're reporting. Way more. Way more. And then I've also had people that say, hey, it wasn't nearly what they say. He didn't want millions of dollars. He wanted free golf.
Well,
whoa! He wanted a $500 summer pass. I already wanted $500,000. No,
I guess my question would be if they've spent that much money on NIL, how come they didn't land like a mega superstar?
That's what I'm saying. With the 9 million number, I was like, well, they've landed. Ben McCollum's brought in some good players, and I think they're going to be really good. If that's the case, then we're racing towards a bubble pop because there's no chance you get the return on that investment. None. So I shouldn't say no chance. I shouldn't say that, especially in a situation like Iowa. I shouldn't say that. You absolutely will. You win, you're going to see a huge rebound, something that arena and an organization team haven't seen for a decade. That'd be worth it. Never mind. I'll shut up.
But maybe you borrow. I'm just trying to figure it out before the house settlement takes place, where you're going to have to prove worth through Deloitte. Maybe you go borrow against future earnings. I don't know how that would work.
I don't think you can do that.
Either do I.
But again, we might be wrong about that too. Holy cow, Trav! Do you think they can do that?
I wouldn't think so. Now, the Swarm could probably go. I don't think Brad Heinrichs wants to take out a $9 million loan. And
I know Brad Heinrichs doesn't want to take out a $9 million.
That's not something he wants to do. But you were asking, your original question was the poor turnout for Iowa and the huge turnout for Iowa State. I think it comes down to one very simple application. That is the consistency of which Iowa State has always run its tailgate tour. And the tailgate tour is promoted by the university, meaning they come in with fanfare, they come in with buses, they let you know where they're going to be, they promote it all over the place. At Iowa, they had it at the upstairs of a restaurant in downtown Omaha, and I think they leave it up to the individual I Club to promote it, which the I Clubs, here is good, but I wouldn't say that it's robust. And they do a good job, but I don't know how much help they get from the university. Kirk Ferentz wasn't there. When you go on the cycling tour, Matt Campbell was at all the stops but Council Bluffs. So when every one of those coaches is going to be there, that gains his enthusiasm. What are the coaches that fans want to see? They want to see the football coach and they want to see the basketball coach.
And maybe with Iowa, the wrestling coach.
Yeah.
Maybe the women's basketball coach in a few universities. Like you said, the volleyball coach was there. I didn't know who that was. I'm not trying to be rude. You rattled off the names. I'm like, I wouldn't know who that was.
And Ben McCollum came to the Omaha stop for Iowa, but
Kirk
he
Ferentz
worked the
didn't.
room really well. But people still want to see Kirk Ferentz, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk Ferentz is still the main draw. He's still the attraction. And there wasn't much build up or lead up to it.
Yeah, right now, if you had that autograph line like you did with Iowa State, the longest line would be for Kirk Ferentz. Ben McCollum's line would be a lot bigger than Fran's was last year, but it would still be Kirk Ferentz would still be the draw. Travis, from an outsider, I'll tell you this. There's also something, maybe this is super duper corny. Maybe I'm just letting my brain get tricked. I think there's something really neat about the fact that all the coaches hung out together.
100%.
It shows, even if it's fake, even if they didn't really hang out in the RV, you know what I mean? I don't know. It shows continuity. It shows togetherness. Again, maybe they're laughing at us right now going, it worked. We don't even like each other, but it looks like they do. And they're giving the perception, and I think they do. I think it's genuine. I've talked about this a lot, but being around Grandview University, when you walk into that athletic building, everybody's got the same attitude. Everybody. They all like each other. They all joke with each other. They've all got inside stuff happening. You talk to one guy, he's like, oh, man, I need to tell you this. It's a fun, there's never like, hey, shut the door. I need to talk to you about something. You're not going to believe what they're doing upstairs. Never. There's a culture that's really fun to be around and cool, and everybody's pushing the ball the same direction all the time. And that's what it feels like with this Iowa State thing. Again, it could be perception.
But what does perception become?
It becomes reality. And when you're looking at the juxtaposition of, hey, wait, Iowa just had an event. The big dog. The big brother. Nobody was there. Little brother shows up, and it's the little engine that could, man. Chugga, 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 chugga.
600 people.
Chugga, 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 chugga. The momentum builds.
In a convention center, massive room.
People lined up for autographs of a coach.
Yeah.
Take notes, Beth Getz. Get an RV.
In the way they used to do it, and I was talking to John Walters for a long time about this. He goes, it was hard this year because, it's hard for coaches to take a whole week out of their schedule to devote to this, but they know the importance of it. He goes, it was a lot better this year because in previous years they'd spread it out. They'd go Monday through Wednesday, and then they'd do a Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
Here they just said, screw it. Let's get it all done in 1 week. And I think they like that a lot better. They got it on the schedule well in advance, and they promoted it. And that's the key. When you have your alumni groups and the university and the athletic department working together, you can build much more momentum, build much more just enthusiasm for it. And that's what Iowa doesn't do. I mean, if you went to Cyclones.com, it was like, here's the tailgate tour tonight. Here's the tailgate tour tonight. And I know that the stop in Okoboji was incredible. Huge crowd and a good drinking crowd. Randy Peterson was up there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, because he's living up there full time now, but that's just what they did. And it was a fun event. I'm glad I stopped by. I didn't stay for the whole thing. I decided to go out and take my wife out for dinner. Took my wife out
nice.
For dinner. Yeah. But we stayed about an hour and 15 minutes. And, but here's another thing they did. Like the coaches were late getting there because they realized that traffic in Omaha is really bad. But I said, hey, where are you at? Because I'm texting him before I go, where are you guys at? I don't want to stay here unless they're like, so they come down from Sioux City, they take the bus and they go to high donors' houses and do special visits. So if you're a big time donor, you get the bus rolling up to your house and you get the little one-on-one time with the coaches, which is even another smart play. 515-517-2303. We're here till 8 o'clock today. Just Ross and I hanging out on Memorial Day. I'm glad you're hanging out with us on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how bats and bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
Fong's Pizza has moved to 317 East Court in the East Village and is ready for good weather with an expanded menu and a patio that is ready for pals, pints, and pizza. Fall in love all over again with the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
I'm Corey Warren, and I'm an automotive technician here. I've worked here for right over 3 years. I was working for an independent shop. I'd say the environment, it's laid back and easy to get along with everybody. I've got a lot of old cars that me and my brothers and dad work on, so I do a lot of that stuff. There's actually stuff to do. I grew up in a small town, so there's not that far from being able to do stuff.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Remember to start your day off right with Core Power from Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling. If you're looking for 26 grams of protein, 42 grams of protein, you won't be disappointed with the protein boost and energy boost that you get from Core Power. Great flavors like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Check it out. It's Core Power from Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company. My weekend, Ross, I spent a little time with Chris Connolly from the Iowa Event Center in Wells Fargo Arena.
Really?
Yeah, he came down and spent the weekend or spent Saturday night here. The plan was, I only heard from Ross once this weekend.
I knew that he was coming over to watch baseball with his buddies.
Yeah, so he brought
very cool.
He brought some buddies over to watch baseball, and the plan was to watch the Iowa Hawkeyes take on UCLA in the semifinals. Unfortunately, the Big Ten moved the Iowa game to 1:00, so he couldn't get here till like 4:00. He goes, "Hey, I'm not going to get there till after 4." He actually didn't get here till after 5, which is fine. So I go, "Hey, I still have the tickets. Do you want to go over to the stadium and watch the game?" So we went over and watched the Penn State-Nebraska game for the Big Ten semifinal, and we left at the 7th inning stretch. Got to hang out, got to drink some vodkas with him. We went and had some pizza. It was just a good time spending with him. But the only time I heard from you all weekend long, which is rare, I usually hear from you a couple times, but it was once. I think you texted me on Saturday morning, and you're like, Oregon's got to be pissed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude.
And I don't disagree with you. The Big Ten needs to take a really, really hard look at its baseball tournament and figure out a way to make this thing, I don't know, easy to understand. We talked about it last week, but Oregon ended up playing later in the week. It was the number 1 seed. To me, the number 1 seed should play like that first Tuesday because you're the number 1 seed. You get to play early. Oregon ended up playing it played Friday or Thursday, and then turned around and played at 9 a.m. on Saturday, which now I'll give them after the Iowa game. They didn't go home. They went ahead after the Iowa series. They didn't go home. They stayed in Omaha for the Big Ten tournament. But your body, we talked about body clocks and stuff like this. 9 a.m. is pretty darn early. I mean, for anybody, but if you're on West Coast time, you're still looking at a 5 a.m. wake-up call, 7 a.m. game, which is just different. And Oregon ran into Nebraska. Nebraska played well. Nebraska won the whole thing. Nebraska played really good baseball.
Great baseball. And Travis, but you called it. It's not just Oregon's side of this. You compound it when you talk. They had to play Nebraska in Omaha. Dude, the stadium was, besides like right behind the Oregon dugout, the entire stadium was red.
And then yesterday, UCLA, they didn't open up the outfield yesterday, but I think the rest of the grandstand, so you're probably talking 15 to 16,000 people, and it was all red, which is fine. I mean, you want enthusiasm like that for college baseball.
Yes.
Now, if it would have been an Oregon-UCLA final, there would have been nobody there. I mean, so for the Big Ten, it was a win-win, but it...
Dude, what do you... Again, this is an August conversation with Rick Heller, with a drink in hand, obviously, not even a morning conversation. Coach, what do you do to fix this thing? Maybe you regionalize it for a couple of rounds, Travis. I mean, maybe. I'm not... This is a nationwide tournament. It's not a conference tournament anymore. You have teams from New Jersey and LA that are going to play against each other. So where do you do that? How do you make that fair? Do you break it down and you say, all right, we're going to have an East Coast tournament and a West Coast tournament, and the winners will, I don't know. I'd be willing to have some conversations. I'd love to have some conversations and talk about what the possible solutions are. But dude, I don't know. I don't know what you do.
There was a good Iowa crowd there Saturday at 1:00. The Nebraska fans filed out. The Iowa fans filed in. Iowa got beat by UCLA. Iowa's very good season is probably over. Not going to make the NCAA tournament. It didn't help them to lose to Indiana and then lose to UCLA. And even though Iowa finished number 3 in the Big Ten standings, or they were the 3rd seed, I believe tied for second. Iowa season, just based on an RPI non-conference schedule, their season is going to come to an end. And we'll find that out officially today when the NCAA tournament is announced. Yesterday, Ross, the 16 regional sites were announced. 8 regional sites are SEC schools. 8 regional sites. So half the sites are SEC schools. UCLA and Oregon both got a regional. So despite losing the Big Ten tournament, they weren't penalized for it. They're going to host a regional. But again, you look at it, and a lot of people may not be college baseball fans. They become college baseball fans this time of year because it's about the only thing on television for the next couple of weeks. So you kind of follow along a little bit, but it's just dominated by the SEC. Just dominated by the SEC.
I'd like to push back and be like, oh, it's a bias. They're the best teams.
They are.
I mean, and it's Kyle Peterson, when he was on with us a couple weeks ago, Travis, he told us, I loved looking back on that interview because I didn't understand it when he was so reluctant to just tell us the truth. He was just so reluctant because he was like, oh, this is going to ruin everybody's day. But here's what's going to happen. And think about what he told us. It's been A, B, C, D, E, F, G from out of what he said. I think Iowa's not as good as you guys think they are. I think they're going to falter here. Tires are going to go flat. They're not going to make the NCAA tournament. It's going to be all SEC. You get a few of those. You get a few West Coast Big Ten teams in that are Big Ten by name only.
And Nebraska squeaks in just because it won the Big Ten tournament.
Played out their ass for a week of baseball.
And it shows you, if you get hot, you get hot. Now, it doesn't hurt to have 10 to 15,000 fans on your side in a baseball stadium. Nebraska will probably be I'm guessing a number 3 seed or a 3 seed in its regional, just based on the regular season. It'll be interesting to see what that comes out today. But they're going to have to go to they're probably going to end up in an SEC school or maybe another Big Ten school where they may have to play UCLA or Oregon again, which I don't think would be good. But hell, they may end up in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Who knows? Who really cares? But yeah, I mean, it's the SEC that's dominating this, and you could have an all SEC College World Series, which I don't want that, but I'm hoping. I just hope LSU makes it because, and I want you to come over if LSU makes it because they bring all their boilers up and they do crawfish boils out in the parking lot. They're like, yes, that's what it's a bigger party when LSU shows up.
When, growing up, I loved the College World Series, but growing up, there were schools I heard of because of the College World Series. Cal State Fullerton.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know Cal State Fullerton was a thing until every June when those dudes showed up with their Florida colors, right?
Yep.
Wichita State. I didn't know Wichita State because of Greg Marshall. I knew Wichita State because of Casey Blake.
Stevenson. Yeah.
Casey Blake had gone to school there.
Yeah.
And their baseball team was fantastic. And they'd go to the College World Series. Like, whoa, this team that plays against Drake is in the College World Series. It shouldn't be money. What consolidated all of that talent down to the SEC? How did baseball get away from having those schools that weren't from power conferences?
Let me tell you, it's because it's the money trail, right? Look when that really started. So you're talking Cal State Fullerton back in Wichita, really back in the 80s and 90s. Hell, Creighton made the NCAA tournament or the College World Series back in 91.
But that was fun.
It was for me just because it was. I mean, they beat Clemson one game. I was there. But this is where when the television revenues for football started to increase, we think that football has been this huge moneymaker for a long time. And it's been the king sport on most things. But the money really didn't start flowing till probably in that late 90s is when that kick up really started happening, right? So when you got more money within the athletic department, you have more money to distribute to other sports. And these SEC schools go, oh, we can throw a lot of money at baseball if we want to. And, LSU makes money with football. One of the very few
baseball.
With baseball. Yeah. And so, and then what happens in the SEC when one school gets good, Another school says, well, hold my beer. We're going to get good too. And that's something that a Wichita State can't compete with.
Yeah.
It's something that
Cal
a
State Fullerton. Yeah. The Cal system is broke. I don't mean broke in. I mean financially busted.
Yes.
The Cal system is in bad shape.
So I would say it just comes down to revenue. And when you start making all that football money, that it really was a trickle-down effect for other sports. And the Wichitas, the Long Beach States, the Cal State Fullertons just said, we can't run in this world. Then you
UC Santa Barbara.
Oh, the Gauchos. The Gauchos.
Who were the banana slugs? UC Santa Cruz?
Are they the banana slugs?
We're going to look this up.
I don't remember the banana slugs.
I thought that they were the banana slugs. Maybe I'm wrong.
Is there a UC Santa Cruz? I didn't even know that.
There's a UC Santa Cruz. That I'm sure of. I'm looking at that right now. I'm trying to find out what their mascot is. Doesn't even look like they have athletics.
How do they not have athletics? And Ross knows.
Sammy the Slug. Sammy the Slug is the mascot for the University of Santa Cruz. UC Santa Cruz. They are the banana slugs.
I did not even know that.
It's a tough logo. That's a tough logo. This is what mascots should be. Bulldog. Get the out of here, the boring ass.
Don't give me your birds. Don't give me your dogs.
Come on, come with something fun. I think Hawkeyes and Cyclones are fantastic. They're unique. They're identifiable. When you say Cyclones, there's not a lot of Cyclones in the world. When you say Hawkeyes.
Now, when you say Cyclones, I think tornado. I don't think a red bird like Cy.
No. I don't think mascot. I'm just saying like identifiable.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I think that there should be a big foam tornado. That should be their mascot. Be amazing. How great that would be. Person out there spinning around, just tumbling and spinning, and it's hilarious.
What's their logo look like? Can you give us a visual description or an audio description of the banana slug mascot?
Yeah, you ever seen a slug? Imagine it yellow.
Oh, so it's like a snail.
It's a snail without a shell.
Ugh, those things are gross. Those are so gross.
Sammy the Slug. He's got glasses on so that he's smart.
Because academics matters here, Ross. It's all about academics at the end of the day.
Okay, why is the U.S. or UCSC mascot a banana slug? In 1980, when the university began more formally participating in the NCAA intercollegiate sports, the then chancellor and some student athletes declared the mascot to be the Sea Lions. Most students disliked the new mascot and offered an alternative, the banana slug.
See, this is where you should listen to students, because Sea Lions doesn't... It's not one that, sends fear into the heart of its opponents. And they're kind of a likable animal, right? Is it an animal? I don't even know if it's an animal.
Mick just hit it, dude. I was thinking I knew UC Santa Cruz because they'd made it to the College World Series, but I can't even find that they have any athletics at all. Mick just hit it. John Travolta wore a Banana Slugs t-shirt in Pulp Fiction. So he wore a t-shirt that said UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs. It was like the logo. Now that he's saying that, I remember this.
Was that when he was cleaning up the murder scene with Harvey Keitel?
I think so.
They killed the dude in the car, and Harvey made him, all right, gentlemen, get to work.
The wolf. UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs. The banana slug is named for its resemblance to a ripe banana. It's one of the slowest creatures on Earth, moving at a maximum speed of 6.5 inches per minute. Moving at a maximum speed of 6.5 inches per minute. How long do they live? You're giving yourself a little bit of credit there, buddy.
At 6.5 inches a minute, could it even go a mile in a year? I don't.
You'd have to pick it up and throw it a few times.
You would. You would. I mean, O'Neal Cruz hit a baseball over the weekend, which registered at being the hardest hit home run since the StatCast era, Ross. It left PNC Park in Pittsburgh. I mean, it left the park. It went all the way out of the stadium at 122.9 miles per hour. Breaking the record of Giancarlo Stanton back in 1918, which was like 200.
Not 1918, 2018.
2018. Sorry.
He's been around a long time. I don't blame him.
It's amazing. He played with Babe Ruth. He played with Ty Cobb. He's just leaped through time. Sorry, 2018.
I got you.
At like 121.7 miles per hour. This was 122.9, a full mile an hour faster. So a banana slug goes at a maximum 6 inches per minute. Wow. For how far this ball went, it would have taken the slug probably 6 months to get to where it needed to be.
Sammy the Slug. That's your mascot. I'm a big fan. I like what they've done with Sammy. They've got a lot of cool illustrations with him. One where he's in a hammock sipping on a coffee. Still got his glasses on again, so you know he's smart.
All about the academics. How do we know you're in academic school? Look at our mascot.
Our mascot's wearing glasses. What the hell are you talking about? Our mascot has glasses. We take academics pretty serious. Yeah. I think you're going to find out we take it pretty serious around here.
Now, because I'm an idiot. I'm an
Nothing
absolute
says
idiot.
we take it serious like Sammy the Slug.
Does a slug have anything to do with a banana, or do they just call it a banana slug?
That's a good thing. Is a banana slug a real thing?
Yeah.
Or is it just, did they just call it banana because he's yellow? And then that seems kind of racist to me, to be honest with you. Is a banana slug real?
Thank God for the Google machine.
Oh yeah, they're very real. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they look like a little. This would freak you out, dude.
If I opened a ripe banana and the slug was there?
If you looked down on the ground and you saw a banana start moving at 6 inches a minute, it'd freak you out. And that's what this looks like. It literally looks like a banana laying on the ground.
How long is said banana slug? Is it as
Growing
long
up to as large as 10 inches?
Oh, that would freak me out.
Thick,
it's
slimy. Yeah. They're known for their bright yellow color, large size, up to 10 inches. Yeah, they are. And the thick, sticky slime they produce.
And they're called a banana slug. Now that I'm reading the tea leaves that you're throwing out there, it's because it's yellow. It has nothing to do with the fruit banana.
I need you to Google banana slug for me. I need you to Google banana slug for me. It has it has a technical term. The banana slug has a legal definite like a medical term, a real term.
The Areolamax?
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 Is the banana slug called the Areolamax?
Well, that's what it says. Banana slugs, Ariolamax. Aerial
Okay. All right. Okay. Just stumbled into that one today.
It's a gastropod slug.
Yeah. It's the Areolamax.
In the family of Areolamacidae.
I don't know, dude. This is why I didn't do science.
All we're doing is proving how dumb we are, and we didn't go to science class.
We didn't even know if a banana slug was a real thing.
Because we don't see them. We see the dark, like brown, black slugs.
You see a slug? I don't know. If I saw a slug, I'd think it was a leech. Like, put a hook in it. Fish with it.
I bet the banana slug's pretty good bait, though, right? Put that thing on a hook.
I mean, you try to imitate stuff that the fish actually eat. For the most part, I don't know. I don't know where the banana slug is. Where's its habitat?
So you see the sign on the road, live bait. It may not be slugs. You're hoping those are earthworms, night crawlers.
So at least they were smart enough to pick, at least the banana slug is in the Santa Cruz area. It's in California. That's another one that always bothers me when they pick, the Los Angeles Lakers is really dumb. The Utah Jazz is really dumb, right? At least they picked something that was by them. And it's a way better pick than what the principal or the president initially had.
I don't know if there are badgers in Wisconsin. I don't know if there's wolverines in Michigan.
I think there are. I think they're both. I think the answer to both of those is yes.
I mean, if a wolverine ran in front of me, I wouldn't know that it was a wolverine. I think I would know what a badger was because you just don't see. It's an animal you don't see that often. I see hawks all the time.
I only know what a honey badger is because of that funny video from a couple years ago. You ever seen that? Oh, dude. I'll find that. Send it to you. It's a video of a overtly gay man giving voiceover of what a honey badger, and the honey badgers are amazing. The line is, honey badger don't give a fuck. They don't care. They are incredible. They'll fight anything, anywhere, at any time. Honey badgers are wild.
So they're the UFC fighters.
They're the craziest. Do you remember Braveheart? Remember when the crazy...
Do I remember Braveheart?
Remember when the crazy Irish guy shows up and he's like, "This is my island." That's the honey. He's the honey badger.
Okay. Do I remember Braveheart?
Oh, Jay says it's honey badger don't give a shit. It's funny video. That's the only reason I know what a honey badger is.
515-517-2303. We have an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. We're glad you're hanging out with us on this Monday morning. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by our good friends at Willis Automotive.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby, got me falling hard for you. It's you, I felt this way before, you know it's true. It's you, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Spring is here, and so are spring pests. Whether it's birds in your dryer vent, raccoons in your chimney, squirrels in your soffit, ants in your kitchen, or bats in your attic, with over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions can help. Call us today at 515-218-3400 to schedule your inspection and see how Bats and Bugs can help prevent your home from becoming their home.
Hey everybody, this is Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. We got some great stuff going on this month. Right now, you can get up to $4,000 off on a new QX80 and enjoy 2.9% for 60 months. On top of that, this month, you can enjoy 1.9% out to 60 months, an additional $1,000 off of a new QX60. For more information, stop at our showroom or visit us online at willisinfinity.com.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Monday to you. It is Memorial Day. If you're enjoying your day off, congratulations. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Android app, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, give this channel a subscription, give the video a like, start leaving your comments in the comment section. And you can follow us on our other social media channels, X, Facebook, and Instagram. My name happens to be Travis Justice. He happens to be Ross Peterson. And we're hanging out with you till 8 o'clock today.
It feels like a vacation day. Am I crazy?
No, because it is
like,
a vacation.
I know, but like even I just went, I don't know, something about, I was like, doesn't feel like a work day.
Now, are realtors busy on Memorial Day? I mean, do people go, you know what,
I got
a day off? It is a good day to go look at houses.
I don't have any showings scheduled for today, and I don't have any showings scheduled on my listings for today. So I'm going to guess no, that it's not a day where people, dude, I do think today is a day where people have some reverence.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I will be busy. I've got a lot of office work stuff to do and comps to run and some things to set up for some clients, but I don't have anything. I don't have any showings or anything like that today. Might try to take Eli out golfing. He didn't have school today. And I remember I quit forever a couple weeks ago, but this would be my 4th time out since then.
Just help me out, because you said Eli has school left. Like all my kids have, all my kids, 3 of them have been graduated high school. All 4 are graduated now. But the Greta's been done like 3 weeks, and her school is completely done.
Yeah.
How late do you go? You got 1 more week left? 2 more weeks left? What do you got left?
Eli, has a week left, and Audrey goes till like June 4th, something through 3rd or 4th. Yeah. Sorry, with me.
Wow.
Tyler said that he had a graduation at our Agency Iowa building this weekend. He says, interesting building. What the hell's that supposed to mean, Tyler? No, I love our building. Got our simulator, got the pool table, got the patio.
Space there to where you can have
we do. We have quite an event space. I want to tell you some other things. First of all, I wrap up this
banana slug conversation.
This UC mascot conversation. You might not like a lot about California. They've nailed the mascot thing. I had no idea. That now, most of them get pretty boring. I will say that. Most of them are the Bears or some variation of the Bears.
Like the Bruins, the UCLA Bruins, that's a bear.
UC Berkeley is also the Bears.
Yeah.
UC Riverside is basically a bear. The UC Davis is a Mustang. Again, not exactly. But you've got UC Santa Cruz, the banana slug. You've got UC San Diego's King Triton. And UC Irvine are the anteaters.
I did know that. Yeah, the anteaters. They've been to the College World Series. Is it UC Santa Barbara, the Gauchos?
UC Santa Barbara, and their mascot is Ole the Gaucho, which, again, some cultural appropriation happening there. But before he's canceled, enjoy Ole the Gaucho. They're killing it. The UC system with the mascots, tip of the cap.
I had no idea there was UC San Diego. I knew there was a San Diego State, but I didn't know there was a UC San Diego. Interesting.
Yeah. Hold on. UC San Francisco is what?
Is it hard to read?
California. I'm going to read this to you. California. Dude, this place is hilarious. Best I can tell, UC San Francisco does not have a costumed mascot. Before falling down this rabbit hole, I wouldn't have assumed that this would have put them squarely at the bottom, but instead, they get a pivot to the number 8 position on the list for having a non-existent bear as their mascot. I just read the words to you. Reading the words to you. UC San Francisco's mascot. Let's go down a rabbit hole.
That's what I love about Ross. You never know where he's going to take us in the mornings, folks.
Never seen this before. What's their mascot? Just bear. Just one word, bear.
Bear.
Doesn't say anything about the bear. There's no pictures of the bear.
Bear doesn't have a name. It just says bear.
UC San Francisco. There's also a San Francisco University that is the Alligators. I rescind my tip of the cap.
How many schools are there in California that are state schools?
Oh, dude, a lot.
It's probably hard to get in all of them, too.
UCLA. There's a ton of them. We could, yeah. There's financial woes. I know that's been a story for a while. We'll pivot off this, and I will do this. I want to tell you a fun story that happened this weekend. Okay,
go ahead.
Picked Eli up yesterday morning for the games. He wanted to get breakfast. We were over by his buddy's house. He was at his buddy's house, which was around the corner from a breakfast spot I'd heard about but hadn't been to. It was called Eggs and Jam, and it's like this 90s themed restaurant.
Okay.
Super cool. Go in, have breakfast. It's wonderful. Waitress is amazing. Ask for our bill, and the lady comes out and she's like, yeah, the owner bought your meal for you. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, the owner happened to be here this morning and he bought your meal for you. It's our friend Ryan Greening. Ryan owns a couple places in town. I hadn't been over there yet. It was really cool. It was a wonderful breakfast. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Ryan for, these are the types of things I wouldn't have been able to do back at the old place. So now I can say, Ryan, thanks a lot. That was cool. He came out and we talked for a few minutes, and so I hope he's
probably not nice surprises.
Probably
right?
Not watching this morning because it's Monday.
But that's one of those nice surprises. You take your son out for breakfast, and you're like, okay, and you're ready to pay the bill. You want to pay the bill, and you're like, oh,
it was
how
nice.
do I pay that forward?
Yeah, I gave a nice tip. I hope I did the right thing there. But anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out, and it was a good breakfast and a fun spot. Cool little place.
Now, were you in a position? I hate when I'm in this position when your meal gets purchased for you and you want to leave a tip,
you have no cash.
I have no cash. I don't carry cash anymore.
Luckily, I did have cash with me.
So then I'm like, hey, can you run my credit card for this? And then they're like, well, we have to do a purchase. I said, well, make it 1 cent, and then I'll
charge me for my coffee.
Yeah.
There you
go. That's the bad thing about a cashless society is that I don't have any cash. And if somebody buys your meal, I'm like, oh, run my debit card. Now you got to claim said tip. But yeah.
Wink, wink.
Well, that's cool. Now, when you say 90s themed, is it, what do you mean by 90s themed?
I mean, like there's pictures of Biggie on the wall and.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? The dishes are all named after like songs from the 90s. One of the dishes was called The Informer. You know that one?
No.
Snow. You'd have been a huge fan of Snow. You'd have loved him. White Rapper from Canada. Doesn't that but that rings your bell, right? That's right up your alley. I know you well enough. I know you well enough to know we are straight down barrel here with
right up my alley. Hip hop and rap.
One hit wonder. Talk about that guy was the definition of one hit wonder.
I mean, I'm actually kind of jealous of guys like you who, I was having babies during that time, right? So I miss like the whole '90s music scene. I wish I would have got into hip hop and rap. I just never did. I'm stuck in the '70s with Bob Seger. Man, I get Bob
Up with
Seger
the
for
sun, gone with the wind.
Yeah, that's me. Did you get to watch the Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever game over the weekend?
No.
Her downfall, and I don't want to be critical of Caitlin Clark because she hit some big shots, did some amazing things, but the constant every play against her is a foul. It's that, it's just like, come on. And now WNBA officiating isn't good. I will admit that. It's not good. She complained about the last play of the game where she was not fouled. It looked like it's one of those where the camera makes it look like it. Then when you watch it, you're like, oh, they got the call right. There wasn't a foul there. At least I didn't think it was a foul. And I don't know, Ross. It's just it just gets old watching the whining about every single call that's not made. And it's like, you're not going to get every call. I don't care who you are. You're not going to get every call. And I thought the officiating was atrocious on both sides, but it doesn't do any good for your persona to bitch about it all the time because it's like crying wolf, right?
But Travis, you're right. Everything that you've said is right, but she can't change it. This is not something you choose. Like that instant reaction thing, man, it would take a lot of coaching and training to get that out of your system. Now, I want to blame LeBron. I feel like this is the change that LeBron James brought to basketball. He's one of the greatest of all time. I don't want to deny that. He's an amazing talent. He's kept his head out of all the trouble and nonsense that most famous people get themselves into. But the flopping, the like overreacting, everything's against me. You started with the officiating is bad. And I think everybody would instantly say officiating is bad everywhere.
That's fair.
Is it? I want to challenge that statement right there. Okay. Is it fair? Because I think what we're dealing with here is the product of all of this complaining. The bitching about the officials, instantaneous, and it's just a given that the officiating's bad everywhere. And that's the first reaction to everything. It was my first reaction when you said officiating's bad in the WNBA. I almost interrupted you to say it's bad everywhere. Is officiating bad everywhere, or are we just hypercritical of it because for a generation now, our superstars have bitched and moaned and complained about officials every time something doesn't go their way? I mean, LeBron, like you talk about the video, it's almost like they forget that there's video on them, watching them in super slow motion. LeBron has a guy brush by him or even miss him, and dude, he flails like he got shot. Oh, he falls on the ground and covers his face, and he's balled up and you're like, oh my God, what happened to LeBron? You watch the replay. Nothing. He flopped around. But he's the best ever. He's the most influential basketball player of the last 20 years. And this is the byproduct we get of that. I don't want to. Caitlin Clark acts this way because of Caitlin Clark. She acts this way because she's uber competitive, and that's why she's gotten to the level that she's at. You don't go out and shoot a bajillion shots when you're 8 years old unless you're wired different, man.
That's fair.
That's how you get to this point. You're wired different, and part of that being wired different is this. Your reaction, you're super competitive. That's what this is. If we want to put a word on it, it's super competitive. But you're right, man. This is going to be, again, the downfall. If what we're saying If what we're saying is her downfall is going to be like LeBron, is that she flops and complains about officials, sign me up for that career. Sign me up for being a fan of that person whose biggest fault is they're too competitive. Her biggest fault is the thing that makes her special. Okay, sign me up for that. I'm a fan.
Couple different opinions coming in. Dude from Iowa who participates a lot in the chat says, I'm so disappointed how the W is behaving towards her. She's taking them to levels never dreamed possible. So are you saying she should get special treatment when it comes to that? I'm just...
Well, and I want to be careful when he says, because I kind of agree with it, when he says, I'm disappointed with how the WNBA is behaving towards her. I think the individual players, I'm disappointed in how, like, Brittany Griner, and I saw somebody mention that thing, that clip went viral this weekend of her kind of chucking Caitlin and then calling her
and she was in an interview. She was getting interviewed, I think, on Saturday, and she walked away from the interview to confront the officials and then ended it by saying, be effing better. Just be better. But Rob comes back and says, starting to get Caitlin fatigue. She acts like every time someone touches her that they should be arrested for a felonious assault. And I think that's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, not every single play, not every single time. Now, and you bring up, is officiating bad? I think it's a lot of us don't understand the officiating rules because, they were talking about freedom of movement. Sometimes freedom of movement will look like a non-foul. Like you're not allowing that person to move through the offense and you've restricted that. So therefore that's a foul. And you look at it and go, that's a foul? Well, it restricted that freedom of movement. So there's a lot of things we don't understand that they're actually looking for that contribute to that.
This would be my take, and this is my new take on officiating. It's not worse than it's always been. I'm going to start pushing back on
Probably better than it's ever been.
We are more critical of it than we've ever been because of a couple things. Number one, we have all of these instant replays now. We get to analyze every time they miss a call. You get to go, you suck. Here's the proof. You suck at your job. Those guys have always missed those calls. We just thought that we always gave them more credit than they deserve. We put officials on a pedestal for a long time. Shouldn't have done that because it turns out they were humans and making mistakes. So it's always been that they've been making mistakes. We are just more aware of those mistakes. But number two, we're hypercritical of it because of the superstars, because we watch the guys, the guys and girls in the field of play constantly bitch. Every single call gets a flail and a come on and stare at the coach like, are you going to do anything about this? Or a coach who goes out of his way to be a jackass about something. Like, I saw one this weekend in one of Eli's games. There's a play at the plate. Pass ball, catcher runs back, scoops it, throws it to the pitcher. Pitcher's coming in, swipes a tag. Kid slides in. Umpire calls him out. It's close play. Here comes the coach from the third base. You were 90 feet away. He was standing on top of the thing. We're playing rec baseball. What? Here comes the coach. We got to talk about this.
Did he make a big scene?
No. Not at all. Not at all. And I haven't seen that in a long time. But even like
that's good. I'm glad you could say that you haven't seen that in a long time.
I wanted the official to stop him halfway and go, stop. Do you think you had a better view than I did? I was here, but he didn't. Let him. A guy comes up, talks to him real nice, says, nope, I didn't see it that way. But that we've been conditioned. Jay asked that. Jay said, Ross, you say we've been conditioned? Hell yeah, we've been conditioned. We also brainwashed. This thing of, the officials always suck. You're not even going to believe what I saw this weekend with this official. He missed a call. And guess who he missed it against? Guess who? My team. Yep. You know that they're hiring, right? Every parent that bitches about officials, you know they're hiring. They'd gladly let you go out there and try to do that. And you'd suck. You'd be awful at it. So here's the right thing to do. Just shut up. And when the guy comes off the field, say, hey, man, thanks a lot for being here today. But we've been conditioned. The kids do it. The parents do it. And why do they all do it? Because the players do it. Everybody's watching Caitlin. Her eyes, all the eyes are on her. All the eyes were on LeBron. And every time the whistle stops the game, they're going to slow down and go, wait, what happened to we were all watching that person. What happened there? Oh my gosh, LeBron just got smacked in the face. Oh, he's down. Oh, well, wait. Oh, go back and look at it. Turns out no contact. He's over there checking for blood. I think we're tired of the act.
Maybe and that's what I refer to when I see the Caitlin Clark is the act, right? It's like, it's just, I know you wanted to sell it on the last play of the game, but there was no foul there.
There's
maybe a little contact? Yeah, but what was it to the point where it should have been called? I was like, no. At first, I was like, oh, she got. Then you see the play, and you're like, oh, they got it right.
Yeah,
they got it right.
You do. You have that reaction, don't you? Like, oh, she got hammered. Because she wouldn't react that way unless she got hammered, and then you watch the replay and you go, oh. I'm with you, dude. But all things being said, if this is the bad part, she's killing it. She's killing it.
I saw something on Yahoo Finance, I think it was. Like right now, it's not how much she's making. It's the worth, right? The marketability worth. Right now, they have her at $835 million, and they think the Caitlin Clark brand could go to $1 billion. That's incredible. That's why.
Yeah. What does that mean? But like, I walk around Hy-Vee. What does that mean? If Caitlin Clark's brand is worth $1 billion, so that means
I was in Hy-Vee yesterday, and I saw the Caitlin Clark Crunch, the Hy-Vee, and I'm like, you couldn't partner with a name brand cereal?
Caitlin Clark Crunch, dude. They have paid her $1 million. They better get something out of it. They better get more than just cardboard cutouts by the High Chai. And so, how do they get back their $1 million? Caitlin Clark Crunch, Caitlin Clark Gatorade, Caitlin Clark High Chai. How do they? So, like when you say the brand is worth $1 billion, what I hear again, single dad here buying groceries. What I hear is, oh, great, man, groceries are going to get more expensive.
And Hy-Vee's going, we got in it at the right time because we got a great deal at $1 million or whatever it's worth.
And again, this is that thing. I have these conversations with my kids all the time. The world's going to try to make you choose between black and white. Can I be a fan but not like all of this other stuff? Can I be rooting for Caitlin Clark but turn my nose up at the Caitlin Clark Crunch Time cereal?
Yes, you can.
Can I love Hawkeye football but think it's ridiculous that we pat ourselves on the back every time we do the wave? Have the PA announcer announce it as the greatest tradition in college sports. Wave with one hand and pat yourselves on the back with the other.
What you're talking about is cynicism, right?
I guess I want to have my cake and eat it too. I want things to be just right in Ross's world.
Ross's world.
Yeah. Can you just do the thing the way that I like it to be done and then stop doing the thing as soon as I don't like it anymore? Can Caitlin Clark just play basketball? No, this is the way the world works. This is the way the world works. But when you say $1 billion brand, that's our money. Am I crazy? Is that way too cynical to break it down to go $1 billion of whose money? Who? And she doesn't get the $1 billion. No. What's
that means when you hire her or attach your name to her, that's
you are part of that industry.
Yes,
the Caitlin Clark industry.
I mean, look at her as a startup. Look at her as a stock. And you're like, oh,
that's
the valuation of that business is now $1 billion. That's the way you'd have to look at it.
That's wild.
So
that's, again, sign me up for it. If I've always been in awe of LeBron James, the way that he wore this weight so well. They would put the guy on Sports Illustrated when he's 16 years old with a crown on his head, and he hasn't screwed that up. And his biggest knock is that he's uber competitive and he reacts poorly to bad calls or to
some
calls.
Some people won't like him because he flops and he dips into the political world every once in a while. But
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
that's true.
I wouldn't say as much as some others.
He doesn't have major scandals. Like
No.
you can't look at LeBron and go, oh, he's a bad guy. I disagree with his politics. Yeah, me too. I wish he wouldn't have gone to Miami. Yeah, me too. He doesn't have this gambling thing. Teammates don't talk about him and curl their lip.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Mazer. Mazer, welcome to the Rush Radio Show. What's going on, Mazer?
Good morning. How are you fellas doing today?
Good. Are you working today or are you off today?
I'm working hard, man. The break is don't stop.
All right.
So I never thought in my life I would be sitting at a stoplight watching a WNBA game with my window down, cursing at my phone, only to kind of look over and see another couple in their car watching the game too, laughing, agreeing with me that she should have challenged that last damn play.
She wasn't fouled, and they couldn't challenge because they didn't have any timeouts left.
I thought challenges and timeouts are separate. Because even the commentators like she needs to challenge that.
No, what I read was since they didn't have, because you're charged a timeout if your challenge fails. They didn't have any left.
God damn it, that's dumb. Well, let's put it this way: if the WNBA wants the league taken seriously, they need to clean up the record. And it's not just coming from a biased Caitlin Clark fan. It's across the league, everywhere, college and WNBA. They need to clean it up and get better. Otherwise, people aren't going to take it seriously because the refs was screwed up anyway.
Mazer, this is what I'm telling you. How and what do you mean by that? There's not better officials in some other league that they can hire in. There's no pipeline of talent that they're holding back. Like the best available people are the ones out there. I don't know what this means. This constant sound of, man, it's the officials. If we could just get the officiating right, then it would fix everything. No, it won't. And by the way, the officiating has always been this way. We're just more aware of it and more critical of it.
And that's true. And I get there's blown calls in every league across the board, but when you literally have a ref standing there staring straight at the barrel of this call and blows it, are they not, there has to be a certain level of accountability for them to say, oh, well, 2 3 years ago, we could get away with missing this call and no one gave a rip. But now that the league's gotten more spotlight, now we need to be just a little bit better and more aware of what this call does.
And there are people that are bad at their job, Mazer, and that's very possible as well. There are officials that are in positions that shouldn't be there. They've either aged themselves out or whatever. But I think for the most part, these officials are doing a really good job, and these officiating crews, guys like John Higgins, are doing a great job of getting the best talent they can. And I just think that we're super critical of it. I think it's also, and I don't want to. I want to be careful here. I almost wanted to say it's like a lazy response to blame the officials, but that's not it. It's easy.
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to go, oh man, the officiating sucks and it's awful. And if the officiating were the fix, because that's a really difficult technical fix.
I mean, the officials don't shoot the ball, but the officials put the player at the line.
Yeah, and there's.
All right, Mazer, get back to driving your truck. Thanks, buddy.
Go get him, buddy.
515-517-2303 is the number to
like
call.
Mazer. He's just got a fun attitude. You know what I mean?
He does.
He's cynical like us. He's a smart ass like us. That's funny. I'm driving down the road watching a WNBA game on my phone.
Only to look over and find another couple watching a WNBA
Never
game.
thought
Something
it
that
would
would
happen.
not have been said 2 years ago.
Right. It's incredible.
It's the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Wow.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hi, my name's Jerry Rodriguez. I'm a Lexus technician, and I've been with Willis about 28 years. My favorite part about working at Willis has to be my coworkers, teammates, a lot of like-minded folks with the same goals in mind, and that's taking care of the customer. We have the fishing. I enjoy fishing. We have a lot of good fishing here in the Des Moines area with various lakes.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Spring is here. It's pothole season. Potholes can wreak havoc on your suspension and alignment. If you come into Willis Chevrolet during the month of May and mention this video, we'll check your alignment for free and give you $30 off if you need one. Give us a call or schedule online today at willischevy.com.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. Hey, if you've got critters running around the house, bats, mice, coons, give our buddy Corey over at Bats and Bugs a call. He'll get rid of them humanely, meaning he didn't kill them.
Yep.
Sets
Not
them
an
out
exterminator.
wild. Actually recommended Corey the other day to somebody because somebody was having a raccoon problem. And I said, you know, there's only one guy to call. And that's Corey over at Bats and Bugs.
The bats thing is fascinating, dude. I mean, like most critters and animals, I just assumed they put out some sort of bait and killed the animal. Like, oh, that's how we get rid of it. But with bats, they can't do that. They basically the only thing they can do is block them out. Once they leave their wherever they're living, they just block them out. Call somebody who knows how to do that.
Can Corey get rid of the banana slugs?
Oh, well, yeah, you can catch those. Those are real easy to catch.
Then you feed them to your pet snake.
Got some rabbit holes for you. You told me to, and I don't feel like this hour and a half has flown by, dude.
It has.
It feels like a vacation day. I have one crazy story for you. How long until we eliminate the javelin? We got rid of
lawn. Did you see this one out of Russia? Did you see this one out of Russia?
Did you see this story, dude? This is sad.
It's really sad.
But we're both kind of have this like half smirk smile on our faces.
I don't mean to smile.
I don't either. But the headline is shocking. Basically, a 13-year-old girl got hit in the eye with a javelin, and it killed her.
Because the coach decided to leave and maybe go take a leak or something?
I don't know what it was. I don't know what. Yeah, the coach was not there. 13-year-old girl was out on the field. A 17 or 18-year-old throws. They don't call it a javelin, or they call it a
spear, didn't they?
Spear, but it's a javelin.
Now they
During
don't
a
have
PE
javelin
lesson.
in high school, right? They just wrapped up the high school.
Well, this was in Russia. So
this was in Russia.
Yeah, and it was a high school PE class.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't let us throw the javelin in high school.
They didn't. I don't remember pole vault. They don't do pole vault. I don't think pole vault is sanctioned in Iowa as a high school event. I think
It
Blake
wasn't
Holden's
when I
talked
was in high.
about
Well,
this.
it was. I'm trying to think. It was when I was going into high school. I don't know if it is now. I haven't been to a high school track and field meet for a long time. If somebody's listening and pole vault still exists,
Tyler just wrote in and said Iowa doesn't have javelin or pole vault.
And good. Those are dangerous.
Pole vault makes dude. To each his own.
Fiberglass pole bending. You're like, is that thing going to snap?
I saw this javelin story this morning. I'm like, no freaking way. That is nightmare fuel. But it got me thinking, like, why are we still doing that? What a stupid thing.
I get it in the Olympics because it's in a controlled environment and you actually have coaching. I don't think
you can't just have it in the Olympics. You got to have a ramp up. You got to have a place where you can practice this and learn that skill. I don't know. I guess these things happen so rarely. You know, it's like we don't ban flying because somebody died in a plane crash, right?
See, to me, the most dangerous one is the hammer throw.
It's crazy.
Put a 12-pound shot put on the end of a chain and just throw it as far as you can.
And wing around in a circle. We've talked about this. I think getting it into the field of play would be a feat.
If I threw the hammer, I'd spin around and I'd let it go and it'd like hit the net.
Oh,
because they got the net
I would hurt myself and somebody. Not or, and. And yeah, I am with most of the people in the chat. I can't think about javelin. I'm of that age where instantly I think of Lamar from Revenge of the Nerds and his limp-wristed throwing style.
We may have some answers on this. Tony's joining us. Tony, we're glad you're not driving the bus today. You're actually going to, the whole show. Tony, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on?
Morning, boys. Thanks for the show. Actually, I'm not driving a bus. I'm driving my golf cart. I'm sitting in my golf cart shed ready to go out. But
good for you.
The topic and track, and I was a high school track and cross country coach in Webster City for almost 40 years as an assistant and head coach, but I was head coach for 30. Anyway, pole vault in Iowa went away in about the mid-90s. It was a kind of they would say it's a safety issue and coaching issue and facilities issue. It was a combination of cost for the pits and the equipment and the insurance. Keep in mind, a lot of the field event stuff, track and field grew out of, some weapons of war kinds of things, the discus, the hammer, the javelin, that kind of stuff. In Iowa, there's a rule. There's a national rule too, I believe. At meets and stuff, athletes aren't allowed to warm up or are not supposed to warm up unless coach and or an official are present half hour before the event, and yada yada yada. Multiple lawsuits. I'd like to move it to a little more positive. The state track and field meet was this weekend. multiple records, great event. Broke an all-time attendance record, over 40,000 people paid to attend the state track and field meet across 3 days. But specifically, and I'm a track geek, and I know a lot of the listeners probably don't give a rip. I get it. But Quentin Nauman of Western Dubuque may have had the all-time greatest middle distance performance across a single state meet.
Was that the 800? Was that the 800?
He's combination of 800s, the 1600, and the 3200. He started off on Thursday in the 3200 running sub 9 minutes for a 3200. That's close to a 2 mile. It's not exactly a 2 mile, but it's right there. And his last 800 meters in that race was 157.
Yeah, I watched that. He was sprinting.
His last 800 was 157.
Yeah, the 800 is considered a borderline sprint event. On Friday, he anchored his distance medley relay by running the 800 meter segment. Again, close to a half mile, but not exactly a half mile for those that deal with that. But at any rate, ran 147, and that, I promise you, that is a sprint. And then on Saturday, he became the only United States high school athlete ever to run sub 150 for 800 meters and sub 4 minutes for 1600 meters. Now, 1600 meters, a lot of people mistakenly call it the mile. It's actually about 10 yards short of a mile, but it's, within a second or so of a mile. And, but he's the only one ever to have done it in one day in one meet. And he's a high school junior. Now he's going to Oregon.
He's only a junior too?
He's a junior. Yeah. The young man that he beat in the 1600 ran 4:03, which is unreal.
That's unreal.
And broke the Iowa all-time record. But performances in high school track are just getting unreal. And I won't get into everything because I could go way down a rabbit hole.
You are.
Tony, a couple things.
But I'm a geek.
Tony, am I crazy in thinking that you were related to this young man in some way?
No, I'm not related at all.
All right.
No,
I was thinking for some reason that one of our listeners was, because one of our listeners has called in and said, "Hey, watch out for this kid." And then at the end of it, he goes, "By the way, it's my grandson." I thought maybe that was Tony. All right. So your time in Webster City.
I have no connection. I was past president of the Coaches Association in Iowa, but that was a long time ago and stuff. But I have no relationship with Quentin. No.
Tony, if you're 40 years in Webster City, you know my good friend Jake Habhab.
Oh, I taught Jake Habhab. Jake Habhab was on my track team.
Wonderful man. Wonderful dude.
Yeah. No, I had Jake in class, and he was on my track team. So
and now a teacher here in Central Iowa. He is a good representation of Webster City. When I think of Webster City and the Lynx, I think of Jake Habhab, and that's the community should be very proud of having a guy like that representing them. Carries the flag well.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I'm sure he does too. And I'm very fortunate to have worked with a lot of great young people and their families over the years, and they've gone on to do wonderful things. But I'm going to let you go. I got to get out there before the Memorial Day crowd. But thanks for the show, guys.
Thank you,
buddy. That's incredible.
Sub 4 minute.
Jay says his last 400 meters was 55 seconds.
I watched,
how do you get faster?
I watched. I know you like. I watched his 800, and I'm like, the 800 used to be like a pace yourself and then sprint. This was a sprint for 2 laps. I'm like, I would be. Well, I don't run anyway. The last thing I'll ever do is run.
It's funny. Courtney and I were on a walk yesterday. We were joking about there's like a TikTok trend now or something that's like, when was the last time you saw your partner run at full speed? And we were just kind of joking about, when was the last time you actually ran at full speed, sprinted, gave it your all?
Years.
Yeah, long
I was probably 16
time.
or 17.
I've jogged. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we got to get there and kind of jog. You know what I mean? The Disneyland late for the tram jog type of
This
thing.
is why we need the Fat and Fit games.
I saw a license plate the other day that said Fat Fit.
And you went, oh, you took our idea. Are the Pacers and Knicks making the NBA fun to watch again?
Boy, Trav, the right reaction to that is yes. Right?
Yeah.
This has been a fun series. This is there is hate here and some passion and interest that is deeper than Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, now I want to be clear here. He's the straw that's stirring this drink right now. But what I mean is, we would have had interest in this because of Tyrese Halliburton. He's transcended that connection thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
We would have watched it because of Tyrese Halliburton. Now we're watching it because of Tyrese Halliburton. Now we're watching the big show. Now the focus isn't on him. Now it's the bigger show.
And you look at, we talk about the Pacers come back in the final 3 minutes of games. The Knicks now in the playoffs have rallied from 20 points down or more in 3 games. I mean, so those are massive comebacks. And and Tom Thibodeau actually said, I always tell you that no lead is safe, and he's not wrong. And it's kind of been the joke about the NBA for a long time is watch the fourth quarter, you'll watch the whole game. But there's interest now, and the Pacers were up 20 points, blew that lead, and now the Knicks are back into it. They're still trailing one game or 2 games to 1. The Pacers have the lead, but you have the interest of Halliburton, but then you just have the Knicks, right? I mean, a storied franchise, the Knicks just adds to the drama.
It's Indiana, New York, dude. For all of us have been watching this our adult lives.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you're north of 65, your adult life, Indiana and New York have been at each other's throats periodically, and this is fun to see. And I think it does conjure some of that. Man, the Halliburton choke thing. Remember that next day we were talking about, and somebody called in and referenced the Reggie Miller thing.
Yeah, that
imagery has really caught on. That imagery of like that nostalgic thing. And then remember we talked about, we had that whole conversation about the Hilton Magic thing. Like, man, winning these games, it's got to give you a confidence. It's got to make you think that you can win these games late, and then they blow a 20-point lead.
Yeah. If there's a team you wouldn't think would blow a 20-point lead, it'd be the Pacers.
It'd be the
playing at home.
Coming back and did it on the road, came back and won on the road, and then crap the bed at home with a 20-point lead. Wild. I don't even know. And so, same logic. Then now, do the Knicks have this unwavering confidence going forward now? Here's what I do know. As a fan, it keeps you involved. A 20-point game going into halfway through the third quarter, when it's a 20-point game, somebody in the text thread's going to go, buckle up. Here we go. Couple of 3-pointers back to back. Dude, and these guys, are they making I love how you said that, Travis. Are they making the NBA fun to watch again?
Because Minnesota and Oklahoma City
it's not fun, dude. It's not fun. I love watching Minnesota. I think that's a fun team. And Oklahoma City is incredible. It's not fun basketball. I can't explain it. The beginning of that game the other night was they didn't miss. And I don't know what it was that wasn't fun about that. It didn't seem like a basketball game. It seemed like an all-star game or a practice.
Yeah.
Not that they
And
weren't.
That's not fun to watch.
It wasn't fun. I can't explain it. Indiana and New York, you feel the pain there.
The rivalry.
You feel the rivalry. Minnesota and Oklahoma City, it's like, okay, we're watching a really good game at the Y.
Good way to put it.
Dude,
I want to go back to hour number one.
Yeah,
go back to hour number one real quick because you brought up the NIL numbers with you saw the graphic. So I texted Brad Heinrichs, hey, there was a graphic over the weekend that said Iowa spent $9 million on NIL. Just curious if that number is even close. One word answer: nope. And that it kind of validates what we thought, right?
Yeah,
he thought it would go up to about $3 million. That's what he thought the spending would be. And I think that's probably more accurate.
Are they including McCollum's contract in that?
No, I think that you would have to include. That's not NIL to me. When you hear NIL,
I'm just asking how. This is why I don't trust the reporting.
Yeah, because anybody can put a graphic out there and say that they don't credit. I mean, there's no transparency in NIL. You can't credit anything. So if you attribution. Remember you're doing term papers in school, Ross. You got to attribute stuff. There's no attribution here. You just threw out a number and
That's a great. There's no attribution. You put together a cool graphic, you throw any numbers on it, and people go, "Holy cow!"
And then you get 8 million shares on it. Oh, did
Yeah.
you see this?
Yeah.
You see this? And people believe it. Now, Darren DeVries in Indiana has a lot of money to spend, a lot more than most. I don't know if that 10 million number is right. This is what I hope we learn if the House settlement ever gets settled, and that is there is some transparency. I hope we do know how much each team is spending on NIL. We know it's going to be $20 million per school or at the big schools because that's going to be the salary cap. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail that, but I wanted to get that in there before
Not
the
at
show
all.
was over.
Not at all. I'm glad you said that because we had touched on that.
Kyle Larson tried to run the double yesterday.
Yeah.
He wrecked at Indianapolis on lap 91. Got on the plane, head to Charlotte to do the Coca-Cola 600, only to wreck again.
He pulled off the double.
Sure.
No, he wrecked in both tracks.
I
I shouldn't joke about it. He's the greatest driver. He's the greatest American driver we've seen.
Well, I think Tony Stewart was pretty good. Tony Stewart did the double.
I don't think Tony Stewart opened the door. Let's be careful here. Okay.
He paved the way. How's that?
Tony Stewart is the Dr. J.
That's a good analogy.
Kyle Larson's the Michael Jordan. And yesterday he missed the shots. The Bulls lost yesterday. He didn't pull it off. But he's amazing. The guy can get into. He pulled off a race last weekend or 2 weekends ago where he had to start at the back of the pack and was leading the race at one point. You don't do that, and that's really difficult. I want to be careful of saying he's the best driver on the planet because I do think that Formula One has some claim to that. But he's the best American driver on the planet, and I think he's the best American driver we've seen in our lifetimes.
I think what we like about Kyle Larson, he'll drive any car anywhere.
Yeah, and win.
Yes.
He can drive anything on any surface, and he's going to be real competitive. Probably the most fun guy to watch out there on the track.
He said yesterday he don't know if he'll try to do the double again just because the time restraints make it so difficult.
Yeah.
But I would make the argument if I'm Charlotte, I'm moving the start time of that race an hour because to me for racing, it garners more racing, not just for Indy, but for NASCAR to see if somebody can actually do it.
I completely agree with you. Travis, we've talked. How many times have you and I talked about the Danny Young thing? We've talked about that a half dozen times or more, where that's an event that I remember being witness to, and you were covering. You were the guy that flew in the helicopter with him. Danny Young was a sprint car driver. He was an amazingly talented young man, and he was racing at the fairgrounds and racing down at Knoxville and something happened one night. I think there was a World of Outlaws event or something.
Yeah.
Where they were going to be racing on the same night. So his dad rented a helicopter. They put one car at the infield at the fairgrounds and one car down in Knoxville, and the helicopter flew him back and forth so he could race both events. And Travis was on the helicopter with him.
I was working for KCCI at the time, and I'll never forget. I think it was John Walters or Jeff Johnson were like, "Hey, what are you doing Saturday night?" I'm like, "I don't know. What do you have me covered?" "Well, you're gonna go get on a helicopter." I'm like, "I've never been on a helicopter before. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was on that helicopter."
So cool. That's so cool. I remember when we put that together, I was like, "Oh, I saw this event one night." You're like, "Wait a minute, you were there?" Like, oh yeah, that was a huge deal on the east side, man. That was. And then Danny ended up getting in an accident and dying down in Knoxville.
Man, a reminder that it's dangerous.
Yeah, right. That dude was talented. Huh. So anyway, I'm with you, Charlotte. I think that they play ball here. This is a cool thing that brings a lot of eyeballs.
I think most Americans would like it if there was more crossover in both circuits, right? I think we're intrigued. It's hard to stand out as one, and they never really have. Tony Stewart's the only to run both, I believe. I think he's the only one to ever pull out. There's been people try, but
because Jimmy Johnson, he left NASCAR to go to do Indy, right? I don't think he did them at the same time.
Did Jimmy Johnson leave NASCAR to do Indy?
I thought he did for a year. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. IndyCar is so in the dude. They're out of my atmosphere of paying attention. I don't even know.
All right, we're done, man. 2 hours flies by. You know, these extra Monday shows when on a holiday, we just appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to us, watch us. We appreciate it. We're going to be back tomorrow, 6 a.m.
For a real show. We're going to do a real
show.
Be real boys tomorrow.
It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to May. It's finally starting to feel like spring. I'm John Lanera, sales manager here at Willis Lexus, and this month we've got some great specials. We have interest rates as low as 3.79 on select models, and if you prefer to lease, we have $1,000 of lease cash on RX, $2,000 on ES and ES Hybrid, and $2,500 on NX Gas. And don't forget, this month we've got the Principal Charity Classic coming on, so expect to see you guys out there. I invite you to stop out and take a look, or visit us online at willislexus.com.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Summer's on its way, and that means road trips, travel, and summer activities. Come in now and get your maintenance done, like air conditioning, alignment, and fluid services, to make sure your Volvo is ready for everything the summer can throw at it. That way you can just sit back and enjoy the season. Schedule service online at willisvolvocars.com or give us a call today.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to the rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.